New tonight, a former Ohio State and NFL linebacker has a warrant out for his arrest here. A judge issuing an arrest warrant after Darron Lee is accused of failing to appear in court. Lee is facing domestic violence charges in 2 separate incidents. Lee was a 2-year starter at Ohio State and went on to play for 3 different NFL teams.
Thank you for watching. Tonight we can tell you more about the criminal history of a former NFL linebacker charged in an Ooltewah murder. Darron Lee was arrested last Thursday.
The victim's family says she suffered from domestic violence and abuse at the hands of Lee. Madison Sims has the latest.
29-year-old Gabriella Perpetuo was found dead in an Ooltewah home on Thursday, and her boyfriend Deron Lee was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Now we're finding through court records that the 31-year-old NFL veteran had a history of violence. A records report from an Ohio court shows Lee was arrested and charged with domestic violence, knowingly causing harm, and assault in April of 2023. The report states Lee was ordered to stay away from his victims as a condition of his bond. But in February of 2025, the case was dismissed when he accepted a plea, allowing him to avoid having a felony record or a domestic violence conviction. Now, nearly 3 years later, the former first-round draft pick is facing a first-degree murder charge in connection to his girlfriend's death, and her family points to a history of domestic violence between the two.
History is a predictor of future behavior. So was there any history of domestic violence in previous relationships? Have they ever strangled you?
In an affidavit from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, investigators state Perpetuo was found with blacked eyes, bruises on her head and arms, and a stab wound to the abdomen.
The higher the level of risk, the higher the level of lethality in that relationship, the more likely that that person is to be killed.
McDevitt says despite attempts by family or loved ones, a victim's choice to leave is up to them. But the Family Justice Center is there to provide assistance regardless of what they choose.
We're going to give you information, we're going to give you facts, we're going to give you knowledge, and then you get to make that choice. And if you choose to go back, then we're going to help you safety plan when you do go back so that if an incident occurs, you're prepared for that.
February 5th, 2026, inside a quiet home in Ooltewah, Tennessee, a woman lay unconscious on the living room floor. Her name was Gabriella Perpetuo. When police arrived, the scene inside the house raised more questions than answers. Broken glass, blood on the walls, furniture moved, and a boyfriend who claimed he had no idea what happened. That boyfriend was former NFL linebacker Deron Lee. At first glance, it sounded like confusion, maybe an accident, maybe a tragic misunderstanding. But as investigators began pulling apart the timeline of that night, they discovered something chilling. Because hours before Gabriella's death was reported, someone had been asking questions online, not about saving a life, but about explaining injuries and how they might look if someone fell. When deputies arrived at the home on Snow Cone Way, Deron Lee appeared shaken. He told officers he didn't understand what had happened. Gabriella was lying on the floor, unconscious. Lee claimed he had been upstairs. He told deputies he expected Gabriella to say something if she needed help, but she hadn't. Instead, when he returned downstairs, she was just lying there, unresponsive. And he said he had no idea why.
I was just coming for the end, Dad. I'll put this up here for you here.
I got this idea right here. She take like any pain pills or anything like that?
Does she?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
She always takes her vitamins or whatever. I have no idea. I was just upstairs.
Did you have a list of medicines?
These are here, I don't know. Jesus.
Hey, sir. I can just hang out until we can see you, okay?
Can I get my
Where's your partner? Yeah, that's good. We got your phone on? Hey, come on. We'll go right outside and talk while there.
But when officers walked through the house, something immediately felt wrong. Investigators noticed broken items scattered around the home, glass shards, debris, disorder. The couple had only moved into the house 10 days earlier. The master bedroom mattress sat directly on the floor. No bed frame, no real signs the house had even been settled yet. But the chaos inside didn't look like unpacking. It looked like something had happened, something violent. One deputy asked Lee a simple question. What's with all the broken stuff in there? Lee had an explanation ready. He said the glass had shattered because a window had been left open. When the house warmed up, the temperature change made the glass explode. At least, that's what he claimed. He told officers he had been cleaning it up earlier, before going upstairs to sleep. But something about that explanation didn't sit right with investigators, because as they kept searching the home, the scene started revealing a very different story.
Tell me, so what was going on? You said you were up there sleeping.
Yeah, I was asleep.
Okay, what was she doing last time you saw her? Do you know around what time you saw her last?
I don't know. I don't know if she's, but I guess went to take a shower. And then that's it. I was knocked out.
Around what time was that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Did you work last night or?
No, no, sir.
Okay. What's with all the broken stuff in there?
The glass just shattered because we left the window open, and so when it got warm, we reheated the house. It just like exploded. So I was just cleaning that up. So that was before I was falling asleep.
Okay.
I thought she was gonna come down and like finish it up from the dustpan, but then I come back down, and then this is what happened. Is she okay? Is she okay?
I didn't work on it right now. So you said that, okay, so explain, so the window was open, so the house froze?
Yeah, it was cold. I didn't know that she like had it open, and so that just shattered. But like nothing was like.
You said then when you close the window, turn the heat on?
It just like, you know how it like shrinks and expands. That's all. That's all I know. Is she okay?
They're still working on it. What's her last name?
Perpetuo.
How do you spell that?
Perpetuo.
Her first name?
Gabriella. Gabriella.
Do you know her birthday?
Yes, 8/19/1996.
That's all.
I don't know. Listen, I do what I do know from. I think it was like last week or second day here. she had slipped. We were trying to get a bath mat. So I know she's like, 'cause I caught myself like before, that's why my left knee swollen. But I don't know what happens in the shower. She takes long showers, like really long showers, and I have absolutely no idea. Please grab I'll get my phone get that.
What are you about to grab a charger? Grab a charger.
Oh my God, babe! I didn't see me. I see me in something in the closet. Oh my God, man.
What is it you're looking for?
Looking for a big block.
Like a charging brick?
Yeah, the big one.
Jesus. Do you have kids in school?
We got kids?
Yeah.
No, sir.
You don't have kids that are, okay, let's make sure you have kids that are about to get off the bus or something.
Oh my God.
I don't see that.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, Belle. Oh my God. So see that. Oh my God.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, so
We'll get you a break out here.
Appreciate you. Your fiance? Can I see? Yeah. Okay. What kind of that's pretty much about it. So the time you're pregnant. She's pregnant? I don't know, sister. She's trying to be pregnant. Okay. Did she take medication? All medication downstairs. Okay. And when was the last time that you saw? Is she Gabriella? Yes. When was the last time that you saw her before you found her like this?
Hey.
Right before my car. Taking over the station to not I wouldn't know because like you see the little fill balls that she has, those little fill balls that she has up there. That's I don't know. I don't even know she has them. She keeps them in her back. She keeps it in her backpack.
Come on.
She keeps it in her backpack.
Just finish talking. Don't have it yet.
Hold up.
We'll get you one out here. Hold on for a second.
Oh my God.
Tell us. Hold on a second.
And so what so I got here kind of late, so tell me what's going on with it.
So I came downstairs, I woke up, and she was already laying on the couch. I thought she was asleep. She was already laying on the couch when I got down. But beforehand, I don't know if she was going up or down. I don't know, is what I'm saying. And so I came down, and then like she was just laying on the couch on her side. And then I'm like, hey man, what do you want to eat? And she's wasn't saying anything, and that's why I called 911 immediately. I'm like, what is going on? Because waking up, I'm like, what the hell happened? Like I was out, I was sleeping a long time. So I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what happened.
Is she bleeding?
What's up?
Is she bleeding?
Was she?
Yeah.
Like actively? I don't know.
I didn't see her just now.
Oh,
I didn't go up there. I don't know. So what is there? Someone was bleeding because there's blood going down the stairs.
Yeah, it was probably her. If you look back in the shower, there's a blood right there. I don't know if she fell and tried to get down. I didn't hear it. Like you can't really hear much.
Do y'all sleep in separate rooms?
Yeah, because we haven't finished putting up her bed yet. There's no bed for me. I don't know if she when she got in there, she felt like I have no idea.
Wait, do what? What did you say?
They're still working on her.
Hold on, no questions. Because
let's see, I do. Let's do this.
He just made a comment about, I don't know if she died, she died there. I think she died in the shower downstairs. There's blood, there's handprints and bloody handprints.
And also we got a bunch of blood, but just, they're calling it, just do not let the writers out.
Don't need it. Just hang them in a car or something. It's a pretty important issue.
I was asleep for one time. Okay, so when's the last time you actually talked to her? When she talked back to you? I talked back to her yesterday evening about 6 You've been here the whole time? I've been here the whole time. No, Brandon did some errands. When did you come back? I came back, it was about like 5-10 minutes like after, but she was still awake. Yeah, she was still awake. And then I came back and I was like, what's going on? We're going to put it in the car. We got we got some people coming out here. They're going to talk.
No, that's the extent of the state's proof.
A former Ohio State linebacker, national champion, and first-round draft pick is now being held in jail on no bond, charged with murder. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us at 11 on 10 TV and streaming on 10 TV Plus. I'm Jeff Hogan. Yolanda is off tonight. Today, Darron Lee appeared for the first time in a Tennessee courtroom where we learned a lot of new details about his case. 10 TV's Libby Cathy is here to explain what we know at this hour. Libby.
Jeff, here's that arrest report with new details about the New Albany native who was once a standout linebacker on Ohio State's 2014 national championship team. Well, earlier today, about 500 miles away from here in Columbus, Lee appeared in handcuffs in a courtroom.
Not only is he a danger to this community, he's a danger to communities in Ohio and Florida.
A former Buckeye champion and NFL first-round draft pick, now charged with first-degree murder and denied bond.
I believe from what has been presented to me today at this hearing that the proof is evident and the presumption is great. So Mr. Lee will remain on a no bond, and that will be while this case is pending.
Darron Lee appearing in a Tennessee courtroom Wednesday for the first time since his arrest last week, accused of killing his girlfriend and tampering with evidence. Prosecutors argued Lee should not be granted bond due to previous violent incidents in Franklin County and in Florida.
I would argue that based on his convictions, he's a danger to women.
A detective described finding 29-year-old Gabriella Perpetuo last Thursday lying on the floor and blood in nearly every room of this Chattanooga home the couple had just moved into.
The scene was in disarray. You walk in the door, there was boxes and just a lot of stuff in the living room. The deceased was in the living room floor, laying on her back.
An arrest affidavit obtained by 10 TV detailed her injuries, noting a 1-inch stab wound to her stomach, a large dark bruise to her head, swollen black eyes, and a bite mark to her shoulder. It also said Blue Star testing indicated blood had been cleaned or attempted to be cleaned in multiple areas.
Throughout the whole hallway, you could see drag marks. You could see drag marks into the bathroom that was glowing blue.
Investigators say Lee claimed he woke up to find his girlfriend unconscious on the couch, telling deputies she may have fallen in the shower, while he himself had injuries consistent with a struggle. Lee's attorney argued a bond should have been granted.
We sit all the time to the jail for people charged with homicide or first-degree murder, and they have prior felonies, and they're not treated. This case is being treated differently.
Will remain in custody in Tennessee as the case moves forward. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for March 9th, and the district attorney says her office is considering seeking the death penalty. Jeff?
Crime scene investigators began documenting the house, and the deeper they looked, the more disturbing the scene became. Blood was discovered in multiple rooms, not just on the floor, but on the walls, on the kitchen island, and in areas where it shouldn't have been. Some of it could be seen with the naked eye. But when investigators used a forensic detection spray called Blue Star, even more appeared. Patterns hidden to the human eye suddenly lit up across the house, indicating blood had been cleaned or moved, or both. One detective described noticing blood on surfaces throughout the home. The evidence suggested something had happened inside that house, and it hadn't happened quietly. Then came the autopsy, and what doctors discovered would raise the stakes of the entire investigation. The preliminary autopsy was conducted by the Hamilton County Medical Examiner, and the findings were devastating. Gabriella Perpetuo has suffered 12 separate injuries. Together, they constituted severe blunt force trauma. There were injuries across her face, a massive hematoma on her scalp, a subdural hematoma covering an entire hemisphere of her brain, fractures to her cheekbone, broken teeth, deep trauma to her neck. But that wasn't all. There were also multiple shallow stab wounds and a bite mark. Investigators now faced the disturbing possibility that Gabriella had endured prolonged violence before she died. But there was still a major question hanging over the case. If Deron Lee said he didn't know what happened, then how did Gabriella sustain all of these injuries? And why did the crime scene look the way it did? The answer may have been hiding somewhere unexpected, inside a phone.
Thank you for watching. A former NFL player is charged with murdering a woman in Ooltewah last week. The suspect is identified as Darron Lee. Last night, the family identified the victim as Gabriella Perpetuo. Darron Lee is a former Ohio State linebacker who went on to play for the New York Jets and Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. He was charged with first-degree murder after Perpetuo, who was said to be his girlfriend, was found dead in their Ooltewah home last Thursday.
Now we have more about the victim's identity and what investigators found inside the crime scene. Local 3's Madison Sims brings us the latest.
29-year-old Gabriella Perpetuo and her former NFL boyfriend Darron Lee only lived in this Ooltewah neighborhood for a few weeks. The couple was so new that neighbors say they didn't even know their names.
They just moved in like 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. I didn't know their names, and the owner of the house lives in North Carolina, so it was a rental house.
Thursday evening, Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies received a call for CPR in progress at an Ooltewah home. When they arrived, they found 29-year-old Gabriella Perpetuo unconscious, a bite mark on her shoulder, bruises all over, and a stab wound to the abdomen. Her boyfriend, former first-round draft pick Deron Lee, told officers Perpetuo may have fallen in the shower, but investigators found broken glass in the kitchen, blood spattered throughout the house, and cleaning supplies in, quote, abnormal places. As deputies collected Lee's clothes, they found he had facial injuries and wounds to his hands and chest, evidence consistent with a violent altercation. Investigators also found alcohol, narcotics, and a firearm inside the home. Lee was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence and is currently being held at the Hamilton County Detention Center. Perpetuo leaves behind 2 sets of parents and a sister. A spokesperson from the Perpetuo family says they're committed to seeking truth and accountability. Perpetuo's family says they'll be sharing more information with the media in the coming days. In Ooltewah, Madison Sims, Local 3 News.
And the victim's family said in a GoFundMe post, Lee has a history of domestic violence. He was convicted in the past on domestic violence charges. We'll have more on that coming up at 6.
When detectives searched Lee's phone, they discovered something that changed the direction of the investigation. Messages, a conversation that had taken place hours earlier, not with a person, but with an AI chatbot on ChatGPT. The messages began late on the night of February 4th, more than 12 hours before the 911 call. At first, the conversation sounded confusing. Lee described a situation involving a woman. He claimed she had hurt herself. He said she had 2 swollen eyes. He claimed she stabbed herself. But then he said he wasn't sure. He wrote that she wasn't waking up, and he didn't know what to do. But investigators say Lee didn't refer to Gabriella by name. Instead, he used a different name, a fictional woman, Allie. Prosecutors believe the name may have been used as a stand-in, a way to ask questions without directly admitting what was happening. The conversation then shifted. Lee asked what someone should say if a person was unresponsive but didn't want to call the police. The responses he received discussed injuries, falls, puncture wounds, and how certain injuries might appear under specific conditions. Lee asked about wounds to the stomach, the hip. He mentioned swollen eyes, blood everywhere. At one point he wrote, quote, "She got blood all over the place," unquote. The messages continued, step by step, question by question, until eventually, hours later, 911 was finally called. For investigators, the timeline raised serious questions because if someone had already been unresponsive, why wait that long to call for help?
Former NFL linebacker Darron Lee back in the spotlight, this time in a Tennessee courtroom, accused of murdering his girlfriend, and prosecutors argue using ChatGPT to try to get away with it.
He asks how to cover it up. He asks what to say to 911.
Lee was arrested last month after sheriff's deputies found his 29-year-old girlfriend Gabriella Perpetuo dead inside the couple's home.
What is going on?
In body camera video played in a preliminary hearing, Lee tells deputies he doesn't know what happened, but prosecutors painting a different picture.
She has 2 swollen eyes. I didn't do anything self-inflicted.
That's the lead detective. Reading ChatGPT messages prosecutors say were sent from Lee's phone a day before Perpetuo was found dead, including questions about handling someone non-responsive. ChatGPT, they say, replied, "This is serious, but you can handle it cleanly and protect everyone." Also appearing to reply to a question, writing, "Yes, falls can cause puncture-appearing wounds. They usually don't look like clean knife stabs."
There's a whole new frontier. You have ChatGPT, AI, smartwatches, Alexas, all of those devices can now lead investigators in a criminal case.
Lee's attorney declined to comment. NBC News reached out to ChatGPT's owner, OpenAI, and did not hear back.
Priscilla Thompson joins us now. And Priscilla, there were some strong words from the judge after hearing about some of this evidence.
Yeah, Tom, after hearing this testimony, Judge Torrey Smith is allowing this case to proceed. She said, quote, she is even more convinced that the offense was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. Now, as for Lee, he remains in jail, and if convicted on that first-degree murder charge, he could face the death penalty. Tom.
All right, Priscilla Thompson. First, Priscilla, we thank you for that. Still to come here on Top. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
During the preliminary hearing, Hamilton County District Attorney Cody Wamp presented the state's theory. She argued that Lee wasn't simply asking for medical advice. Instead, she claimed he was attempting something far darker. According to prosecutors, Lee was using the chatbot like a guide, trying to understand how injuries might be explained, trying to determine whether certain wounds could appear accidental, and possibly trying to shape a story, a narrative, something that could explain what happened inside that house. The district attorney told the court that Lee had essentially been consulting the chatbot as if it were a legal advisor or a defense attorney. But Lee's defense team strongly pushed back. His public defender argued that everything presented so far was circumstantial. He said investigators still didn't know exactly what happened inside that home. Something happened, that much was clear, but exactly how it happened remains the central question, and that question may ultimately be answered by a jury.
Well, new at 11 tonight, former Ohio State football player and first-round NFL draft pick Darron Lee is now charged with murder. The Hamilton County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office arrested Lee yesterday after finding Lee's girlfriend dead at a home near Chattanooga. Now, he's charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. No other information has been released so far. Lee played for Ohio State as a linebacker on the 2014 National Championship team.
After reviewing the evidence presented at the hearing, Hamilton County Judge Torrey Smith made a crucial ruling. The case will move forward. The judge bound the case over to a grand jury, but during that decision, she made a comment that echoed through the courtroom. She said the offense appeared, quote, especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, unquote. Those words carry serious weight in Tennessee law, because they are one of the key factors that can qualify a case for the death penalty. District Attorney Cody Wamp confirmed that possibility. She said the case meets the legal requirements for capital punishment, but prosecutors have not yet decided whether they will pursue it. For now, the option remains on the table, and Deron Lee remains behind bars, held without bond at the Hamilton County Jail, waiting for what happens next. Today, the case is moving toward a grand jury and eventually, possibly, a full trial. But many questions still remain unanswered. What exactly happened inside that home? How did Gabriella Perpetuo sustain so many injuries? Why were messages being sent about an unresponsive person hours before 911 was called? And perhaps most unsettling of all, what really happened during the time no one was watching? Investigators say the evidence will eventually tell the story, but until that moment comes, the mystery surrounding Gabriella's final hours remains, and somewhere within the timeline of that night lies the truth. Alright, y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's a crazy story of former NFL player Deron Lee possibly, facing the death penalty, trying to use ChatGPT to cover up what he did to his girl. That's a crazy story right there, man. Get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think, drillers and trappers. We outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!